getting the best possible rep you can get against that competition. We're going to be mixing up some music this evening as we get ready to begin. I hope you all plugging in your iPod and get ready to rock out this locker room, whoever they play tonight.
Get that enthusiasm out. FBU Bay Area, how are we doing? Fantastic, fantastic. Something we have to do that is crucial to start our day off. All right? We talk about men, we talk about football as a journey. All right? We talked about that on the first day. We talked about all the people that are going to be on our journey and who is always our #1 fan. There you go, it's moms. So athletes, I want you to stand up. If your mom is sitting next to you in the bleachers behind you, give her a hug, give her a kiss, and say, thank you, Mom, for everything you do, and have a wonderful Mother's Day. Because there's nothing they would love better than spending with you, achieving your dreams. So happy Mother's Day to all the team moms, all the carpool moms, and the great supporters that you guys throw out. All right, last day of the camp, men, last competitions to earn some Top Gun invites, last chance to rock your group, your position group, to stand out amongst the best. But before that, what does it really take to be successful? So we want to start the day off a little bit with sharing some of the information that we have gathered over the years, over the past 14 years of hosting the U.S. Army All-American Bowl. When you think about it, all those athletes, all those years, all right, close to 1,500 athletes of the best in the country have come through our game. What is some of the common denominators that we have for them? Hold on, time out here. Hey Frank, clicker's not working. Quick little fumble here, folks. We'll get up. PSA. Frank over here, Frankie's done a fantastic job coordinating all of our AV, but also goes under the pseudonym of DJ Squeak. So all the music that you've heard as you're coming in the gym, those are all the official FBU All-American podcasts. So you can log on to our website, you'll see them, you can download them, and Frankie puts them together for everybody for your workout. So make sure you give him a listen, and he does a great, fantastic job. He's the official DJ of all of our main events. All right, so what is the DNA of rules for success? So one of the things we want to talk about is all the great players share a unique DNA. It doesn't matter what demographics you come from, what socioeconomic background you come from, there's something unique, and that's a common denominator for all these guys that we found have become U.S. Army All-Americans. And we're ready to share that with you today. All the top draft picks that we've trained, that our coaches have trained, we've interviewed, we've talked to them. What are some of the core things that you guys bring together? And you know what? It's summed up right here. Relentless in their pursuit of greatness. They wake up, they want to be great. They go to bed, they want to be great. Every little thing they do, they want to be great. And they pursue that to the nth degree. They will grit and grind on the field, in the gym, watching the film to be great. Fellas, here's something that's a challenge. Embrace our weakness. We tend to hide our weakness. It's human nature that we don't talk about. We beat our chest, I scored 4 touchdowns. Yeah, but you dropped 5 passes earlier. You missed 5 tackles on key plays that got him a first down, that gave him a touchdown, that made this game a little bit closer. We always talk about how I sacked the quarterback, and we do our big sack dance. What are some of your weaknesses? It takes a strong man to look in the mirror and say, what am I not happy with? What are some of my weaknesses? Some of it could be we talk about FMS, it could be just some of your physical weaknesses, not necessarily how much you can bench, how much you cannot, but how strong is my flexibility? What's my range of motion? Do I really know all the different offensive schemes that can be coming at me? Can I study the game a little bit more? So embrace your weakness and focus on it. You have to be committed to technical excellence. Have to be committed to it. So you think about some other sports outside of football, okay? So I know I'm on the West Coast here, huge Derek Jeter fan, all right? How many times do you think he spends working on his swing in the batting cage? Tiger Woods, how many times, how many golf balls do you think he hits on a day-to-day basis to perfectly have perfect technique in his backstroke? So you think about discipline and repetitive muscle memory. So how many balls are you throwing? We talked about Phil McConkey catching those 500 balls a day. When we talked about how Rich met with Phil and gave his down what it would take to be a great athlete. You got to understand the 10,000 hour rule. There's a great book that explains the 10,000 hour rule. Basically what that is if you want to master a certain trait, profession, skill, it takes 10,000 hours to master that. So if you backtrack these guys that got drafted this weekend, and you actually sit down with them and try to backtrack and map out how many hours of training, film time, practice work, both on the team and in private training, how many hours do they take in college, how many in high school, how many hours of camp do they work? I mean, hey, your 18 hours here at FBU is all part of those 10,000 hours. Are you putting in 1,000 hours per year training? It's not saying you got to put the 10,000 hours in 1 year. Cumulative from your high school year to your college, over those 8 years, how many hours can you put in? Are you close to that? So start tracking. One thing that's a challenge, and I see it all the time as a coach, when I was at the college or high school level, is when he had a great athlete, he would take practice off. Meaning he wouldn't play the same game speed during practice. But again, we go back to the DNA of those great All-Americans, and it shows when you put them all on the same field, is those guys are flying around, no matter if it's a stretch, an indie period, a competition period, or a team period, they are flying around as if it's a game and they're in front of 10,000 people. You have to practice great in order to be great. The old cliche, you practice as you play. You play as you practice. The wow guy, first day of practice. Everybody's all excited. It's a brand new year, brand new season. Maybe you got some new teammates when you show up. Are you the wow guy? Are you the guy that's everybody's like, wow, I can't believe that guy's on our team. Wow, did you see how fast he ran this 40? Wow, he's really strong and powerful. Wow, did you see him throw that pass? Wow, did you see that tackle? Are you that wow guy? And it's not just the first day of practice. You got to be the wow guy every single day. In the weight room, in the classroom. How can this guy handle such a high academics and bang it out in the weight room and dominate on the field? Be the wow guy everywhere you go. So one of the characteristics that we would really encourage, or it was interesting to find out when we studied these All-Americans, was the fact that they were very goal-oriented. Very goal-oriented. And a lot of them publicly stated their goals. Now, how do we mean that? Well, let's think about what we've learned this weekend so far and tie things together. So, is your goal, and it could be a big goal, it could be a small goal, it could be a seasonal goal, it could be a life goal. Have you let somebody know about that? Do you think there's anything wrong with getting on there and tweeting out your goals? I don't think it's being cocky and arrogant. My goal is to rush for 1,000 yards this year behind my great offensive line. My goal is to get a college scholarship in the next 3 years. I don't think that's something that's bad to put out there on social media. You want to know why? Because you got a bunch of people in your football journey van that are all going to help you achieve those goals. So the more people that know about your goals, and I'm not talking about bragging or boasting, I'm saying, hey, here are some of my life goals, and if you've got true followers behind you, they're going to help and support you in every way, shape, or form. If you keep those goals inside, then it's going to be truly up to you to achieve them. If you share them, the supporting people behind you will all push you along. Gentlemen, I can't tell you how important this is right here. Having high character is going to get you to that level of greatness. When you have the U.S. Army behind you as your key supporter and your key sponsor, they all want to make sure that they're putting their star, the Army star, on the best character athletes that follow along with the Army motto and the Army slogans and the Army philosophy. So there's been numerous athletes that have been qualified athletically and gifted to play in the U.S. Army game, but they've got some character issues and we just weren't able to give them a jersey. So high character goes a long way. And it's not just when the spotlight's on you. Do you say the right things? Let me ask you this real quick. Everybody saw Kevin Durant's speech this week? Very moving, learned a lot about his character throughout that entire presentation. Do you think that was just a show for the cameras? I don't think so. Nobody puts on that amount of emotion out on the table in front of all those people if that guy is not the same person he was in front of those cameras as he is behind closed doors. You need to be the same person you are publicly and privately. So you have to be consistent with high character. Difference maker against athletes of equal ability. So when you have two guys that are the same size, speed, and you both walk into that coach's office, and coach has got one scholarship left, and you go to talk to him, and he says, what are you doing in your community to make your community better? And you respond, well, coach, I go to the, I help out the park, I go to the mall, and I did a couple community service with the youth group, or hey, we were forced to do community service at school, so I did a couple hours. I did what you had to do. Or the other guy goes, well, I'm supporting my youth football or my youth ministry at my church. I help out the soup kitchen every other Saturday. I help tutor the younger kids, underclassmen at my high school, and I donate to the breast cancer fund with my time and energy. If you're that coach, which one are you giving that scholarship to? Number one or number two?
Number two.
Exactly. So your character makes a difference as part of the overall package when you're getting to the next level. And it all starts with a great handshake. I guarantee you that no one's gotten a scholarship going, yes, coach, okay, that sounds wonderful, I'd love to go. And he's standing right in front of you. I've never gotten a job with my head down, looking at my feet and a device. I've always looked somebody in the eye, you shake their hand with a nice wide hand, with a nice grip, and you say, thank you very much for this opportunity, it's great to be here. That goes a long way. Many people will judge a man's character by his handshake, because that is your initial reaction and introduction to a man. Getting back to physically, we have to max out. Talking about, you want to be that wow guy every single day in the weight room, on the field, in practice, and especially in the classroom. Be that wow guy. So we need to improve our weaknesses. So we talked about the FMS testing on Friday night. All right? Where are you? Are you getting 3s in each one of those screen tests? Or are you a 2 and a 1 and you got 1 or 2 3s? How can you improve it? Here's the next challenge, guys, and maybe this was an eye-opener for you this weekend, is how many of you guys, in a quick show of hands, not a right or wrong answer, it's just obviously it's a good exploration, were sat down and watched yourself on film for the first time? How many guys actually sat in here, was the first time with Lolo, an NFL coach, any coach, and watching your practice film? That's fantastic. That means the times are changing. And I know there's a lot of technology like Huddle and other editing softwares out there that a lot of high school and youth coaches are mandating. You need to be an expert in there. You need to study the game as much as possible. And I'm not talking on the Madden. I'm talking about going to the coach's office on a break period, sitting down and watching your opponent and watching yourself. You got to be mentally strong to make the plays. Think about this, you only have a few reps in a game to make a play. It's not like a basketball game, continuous flow, where you can be handling the ball at any given moment. You have about 70 plays on offense in a given game. We run the spread offense. I do my stats, we run about an average of 63 to 70 plays a game. So if you break that down to how many run versus pass, then you break that down to how many right, how many left, how many do we throw to you, so forth. So the average receiver may get 5 passes thrown to him the entire game. 5 things. You put those 10,000 hours in for 5 plays. Understand the performance pyramid. Bringing this back from Friday to reiterate it. Your movement, functional movement on the bottom. What's my flexibility, my balance? What is my range of motion? Followed by my performance. How fast am I? Strong am I? What's my broad jump? And on top of that, once I get those 2 as a solid foundation, what is my skill level? What's my technique now? How does that really work? So when you think about the kind of wheel of development, it starts off with grit, grind, growth, and mindset. Then you go to athletic movement, which is at FMS. Then it's your physical performance. Bench, squat, 40, cleans. Technique and skill. How good is your technique? Then we're coming back up the other side, football awareness. We're going to do a little test later this afternoon on ways, and that's what I like to call FBI, football intelligence. We always say that kid's got great FBI, football intelligence. He knows the game, he can see, he can dissect the defense, dissect the offense, he's got a good feel for it, FBI. And the last thing is your pup. Put it all together, how do you handle it under pressure? Some of you guys may have had pressure for the first time in your life. You may be the best kid on your team, best kid in your area, but you come to an event like this and now you're matched up with other great kids. One of the neat things we talk about is what's the difference between this and a regional FBU camp at Top Gun is the regional camp, it's learning about your technique. At Top Gun, it's how good is your technique under pressure. Because the talent level gets up to here at Top Gun. So how good are you? How good is your pup performance under pressure? So this is what you should be thinking about, the entire aspect of it. And the greatest thing is that FBU sits right in the middle of it, where we can assist you and guide you on your journey around this wheel. So the first belief is that great players are not born. Great players are made. I've had 3 kids. I'm very fortunate and blessed to have 3 children. When each one were birthed, the doctor didn't say, oh, here's your warrior. Here's your Heisman Trophy winner. Nobody was born with that on their chest. They are made. Some of it's genetic assisted, some of it is putting those 10,000 hours in. Second belief is it requires a serious and thought out year-round commitment. Now I know this is a challenge. I was a multi-sport athlete in high school, played lots of youth sports, but what is your goal? We've listed our goals, we've publicly put them out there. Now, how do I get there? How do I map out my 10,000 hours? How do I map out my 1,000 hours for the entire year? And it may be tough because you do have commitments to those other sports. As soon as football is over, maybe you're wrestling, maybe you're playing hoops, maybe you're playing a little lacrosse. So where do I fit in a couple hours of technique training? Where do I fit in my time for weight training? Maybe I'm dual training, and for sports that's going to help me for football and lacrosse. Starting tomorrow, when you leave here, almost even tonight in the car ride home, you're going to be exhausted, mom and dad. I guarantee you're going to fall asleep as soon as you hit the interstate. But have that discussion on what is my plan. What are some of the national standards out there? How are kids looking? What are other kids across the country? I now got a baseline of how I compare to other kids regionally by attending the FBU. But what's the standard like for a ninth grade running back across the country? Get with your coach and parents. You're going to have a great opportunity to sit down with our NFL coaches and get a concrete evaluation of where you're at. And take it for what it's worth. This is not your personal coach. This is not your parents that's giving you this evaluation. It's going to be an honest evaluation by a professional that has evaluated athletes far better than you. When millions of dollars are on the line and their decision, their evaluation could make or break an athlete achieving their dreams. So sit down and listen to what they have to say. What are some of my weaknesses, coach, that's going to make me better? What are 3 things I need to do to improve that until I see you next year? Write down your goals today. Maybe on the car ride home, great to have that conversation. Social media, everybody take out your phone and hold it up in the air, athletes, if you got it on you. How many of you guys look at that right before you go to bed, and then look at that first thing you do when you get up in the morning, right? Everybody's got a great picture as a backdrop, right? Probably maybe your girlfriend, maybe a great car, maybe even picture you. Why not put your goals on your screen? Why not put your goals down on your screen? It's the first thing you see in the morning. It's the last thing you think about at night. Every day, and update it. Did I achieve that goal? It may be a weekly goal. It may be a monthly goal. Or it could be the yearly goal. Every single day you're looking at those goals. Change them when you need to, but put it on your phone. Put it on somewhere where you're going to get up every morning and it's going to be a reminder of whether or not you're moving forward towards your goal. Make that commitment. Make that commitment tomorrow. Hopefully we ignited you somehow, some way here with this weekend. Maybe it's something the NFL coaches said. Maybe it was something in these presentations. Maybe it was something, competition out on the field. Maybe you made a great big play against a guy who's a little bit bigger than you. And you say, man, I can do this. I can hang in this thing. Maybe there is something for me here. Commit yourself tomorrow to it. And then tell everybody what your goals are. Put them on your phone and start going after it. We have a year-round plan that's going to help you. And we're going to talk about this in another presentation that I'm going to give a little bit later. But FBU has come up with a way that we can be in that car ride with you on your football journey. Not just one weekend out of the year, but in a year-round resource, whether you're attending some of our events in the wintertime or just doing a checkup like you would go to your doctor throughout the entire year. Some final thoughts. It's okay to dream. Dream big. A bunch of guys had their dreams achieved this weekend by getting drafted to become a professional football player. There's no reason why you can't see those guys on ESPN and say, I want that one day. There's no reason why you can't be ignited by some of our coaches or Julian from NCSA and listen to his story and say, you know what, I think I can do that. When he shared his story about how he had to go through his recruiting, how he was proactive and went to colleges and handed his tape and didn't wait for people to come to him. Dream. Dreams only become real when you put it on paper and put a plan behind it. So you need the plan. Hope is not a strategy. I hope I get drafted. I hope I win the lottery. But if I don't buy the ticket, I ain't going to win the lottery. You need a plan. You've got a great support team for that plan. Let them know your goals to achieve that plan. Put them on your phone and look at them every day and every night. So maybe you didn't get a Top Gun invite today. And I want you guys to manage that expectation, because there's some pretty great athletes running around this camp. Extremely impressed. I was really excited to come all the way out here from the East Coast. I only get out to maybe once a year. The West Coast, I was out to the Seattle camp last year, and obviously this one. And I've been all over. I've been in Texas, I've been in Florida, obviously up and down the East Coast. Some great talent, as I expected. I was pleasantly surprised on how the great talent coming out of Northern California. Pleasantly surprised and excited and fired up at the same time. But with that said too is, listen, maybe your goal coming into FBU camp was to get that invite for Top Gun. And maybe you didn't get it. Maybe you're number 4 and they only took the top 3 receivers or the top 3 guys at that position to Top Gun. So what does that mean for you? Is it over? Do you pack it up and put it in and call it a day? No. You can find out, Coach, what do I need to do to get that Top Gun? Do I need to jump to the Seattle camp next week? Am I going to jump down to another FPU camp now that I've experienced the tempo, the pace, the intensity of this camp? And now I earned that Top Gun invite at our second camp down the road the next 2-3 months. Maybe I did earn it and I go to Top Gun. Maybe I did achieve that goal for the weekend, got the Top Gun invite, and now we're going to go dominate on a national showcase, on a national stage. Again, guys, it's a journey. What is your end goal? Is your end goal to get a college scholarship? Does your goals then change once you've reached that? To potentially go on and get a professional career playing in this great sport? Is your goal right now to start on varsity? Is your goal as a junior high player to be the best one in your league, in your conference? So it's a journey. And your goals are going to change. But remember what you have in that minivan of your football journey. You have your parents, your coaches, your family, close friends, any other supporter of you, and somewhere back in the back seat is us here at FBU to assist you in that journey the whole way. Maybe we're that backseat driver once in a while. Say, no, turn right, this is going to be a good one for you. You want to go in this direction? And then we'll be quiet for a little while. And there are the other people in that van. Then we'll point you out, no, turn left over here. This is where you need to be going towards that goal. So consider FBU that backseat driver that's going to bark every once in a while. So we're the starting point, not the ending point. Hopefully we've educated you quite a bit over this weekend in all the different aspects. I know for some parents it was an eye-opener for some of the recruiting process, and a lot of walking around and a lot of parents saying, hey, this is great. As a 7th, 8th grader, I now know what I need to do. For some of you as sophomores and juniors, we got a little catching up to do based on some of the information that was shared. Can it be done? Yes. So FBU is certainly not the ending point on where we're going. We want to stay with you and invest in you. Our company's mission is to embrace and invest in athletes so they can achieve their goals, whether it's on the field, on the court, in the classroom, or in life. We want to empower young athletes to success, to succeed. So with that said, that kind of concludes our rules of success. Hopefully some of you guys will take away a couple things from our All-Americans. Most importantly, it's define your goals, let people know, put them on your phone, check it, and mark that plan out for your success. Thanks much, guys. Stay put. We got one more announcement coming up, and then we'll get you guys moving a little bit. Morning. So what I would like to do is I want to introduce Coach Dan Higgins from LRS. You know, you guys today, you got to meet the guys from NCSA and how NCSA can be a great supporter on that football journey with you in the van, sitting right next to us in the back seat. But there's another set of eyes that are going to walk around and evaluating your athletes, and is going to share that information. He is crucial to the eval work, working with the coaches on who's going to get to the high school level, those 24/7 profiles, who are some of the top youth guys. So Coach Higgins is coaching at the college level, currently now at the high school level in Florida, travels all around and evaluates talent to major colleges. It's great wealth of knowledge on the entire recruiting system. So I'd like to introduce you to Coach Dan Higgins of LRS, who's going to speak with us.
Top of the morning to you. I'm from the South, but before I get started, I'd like to personally welcome and say thank you to every one of you for bringing your young man to this camp. I know some of you have given away Christmas gifts, anniversary gifts, vacation time to financially support this, but this in the long run is the best investment you've ever made. But from the recruiting end of it, I want to say thank you. And this national holiday, I'd like to say Happy Mother's Day. Let me tell you about LRS. We're an evaluation recruiting service. We're not private. We don't put stars on people. We don't have big websites. We don't do that. College coaches pay us to go and evaluate. Kids they're recruiting, kids that they're on the list, kids that they've seen before. And that's what our system does. We evaluate all over the country. We started in the South and we've moved all the way out here. So we're just an evaluator. High school coaches don't lie, they fib. Because they'll say that young man's 6 foot, 200 pounds, and really he's only 5'10", 175. But what high school coaches do is they project how big and how strong that young man's going to be when he gets to the college level. So the NCAA has taken college coaches and squeezed them into a box where they can't call, they can't go out, they can't see, they can't recruit. So they hire our service to evaluate. We are not in competition with NCSA. What NCS does, they take your information, your profile, and your website, and your highlight, and they send it across the country to college coaches. When you do your NCSA, if you go that route, and that college uses LRS service, that college is going to call us and get the report that we write up, or call us personally to ask us about that young man. And what they're going to ask is, what was he like? Was he a leader? Was he up front? What was his character like? How did he work when he was there? And, you know, I evaluate feet, hips, motion, burst, hands, soft, throwing motion, back pedal. I evaluate. But what I really evaluate is where was he in the line? Was he in the front? Was he in the back? Did he improve? Was he coachable? Did he listen? Did he have yes sir, no sir? That's what the college coach can't see on film. And that's what they use our service for, is that evaluation. Because we can go out 24/7. But the number one question that college coaches ask me, not how big, not how fast, how strong, what are his academics like? Does he have the grades? Gentlemen, you got to understand it's a 5-year business for colleges. They're not going to bring you into their college and spend money on recruiting, feeding you, education you, paying your tuition, your study hall, your 3 meals for breakfast. They are not going to bring you in that if there's a chance that you can't read and write. Okay? If you don't have the academics to graduate, they can't take that chance. College coaches, head coaches, are paid on their graduation rate. There's a bonus for a college coach if that freshman class graduates on time. If that freshman class doesn't graduate on time, he could lose his job. Currently, I know 3 college coaches who lost their jobs with winning records, but their graduation rate was the bottom 10 in the country. So it's important that you graduate from college, in their eyes, and your eyes, and your family eyes. But if you're barely carrying a 2.0 in the core classes, they're not going to take that chance. They're going to get that young man with a 3.0 in that core class. So, parents, I'm going to tell you, Monday, go in and meet your guidance counselor, find out if he's got the core classes, find out if he's on track to play NCAA football. Not to graduate from high school, to play NCAA college athletics. Get the 48H form. Get registered with the NCAA. Make all that motion as early as you can, even as a 9th grader. Start registering now, get that motion going. Do not wait till your senior year and say, wait, he's a credit short in English. Won't work. Plan for it now. If you're going in your junior year or senior year and you got a D in math as your freshman year, because all freshman students are totally lost when they go to high school, boys and girls, replace that class, replace that grade. Take that D to an A, take that D to a B. Have that on that transcript. Make sure that you replace. Get that GPA as high as you can. SAT, ACT. In the South, we take the SAT. In the Northeast, they take the ACT. Every college has a different. Your engineering schools like ACT. They're completely different tests. ACT is a warm, friendly, get to know you test. SAT starts with a 2 plus 2 is 5. 3, oh wait, I'm in the South. 2 plus 2 is 4. Okay? Then they go multiplication, division, word problems, and then they're going all the way to the top. When you take the SAT, you start. When you run into that hard question, skip it and go to the next section and go on up. Get the easy ones out of the way, then go back. Don't get stuck for an hour and a half on 2 plus 2. Okay? Keep moving as fast as you can. So, each college, find from your guidance counselor the education they supply for you on ACT and SAT prep classes. Books, knowledge, classes. There's some faculty member on every campus that can teach you how to take the test. Okay? It's like teaching you how to backpedal. It's like teaching you how to throw and how to catch. Someone's not going to throw you into a football game if you don't have those skills. It's the same thing with ACT and SAT. Take the prep. Take it many times as you can. If you get 600 in English and 400 in math, take it again. You raise that math score up to 600, so you got 1,200. Because they combine the two, they take the two highest scores. So make sure that you are aware of that. Highlight film. Let me give you some tips and reminders. I've coached, this is my 38th year. I've coached at Division I, 1AA, Division II, high school, junior high, and when I was in college, I coached youth football. Coach Joe here just talked about your goals. I call it a path. Right on that board, path. P for your passion. What are you good at? Your attitude. Are you going to get up hungry and worried? Your attitude, go clean the room, you're going to help your parents out. Your talent. Can you backpedal? Can you throw? Can you read? Can you write? Can you sing? Can you dance? And you have a heart. What is your heart telling you what to do? Believe in yourself. Do the right thing. Stay away from social media. Because every mistake you make, it pyramids out. It doesn't say John Doe got trouble. It says Jones High School running back in trouble. Who do you affect? Parents, brothers, sisters, grandparents, aunts and uncles, cousins. Oh, let's go. Teammates, classmates, the whole school, all the alumni school from Jones High School, the community and everything. It pyramids out because you made a dumb mistake. Parents, look at your son's friends. If they're goal-oriented and they have a path and they're going the right direction, then your son's in the right crowd. Okay. If they're not, they're going the wrong way. Adolf Hitler was probably one of the greatest leaders in the history because he got a small country to rule the world. But he was a terrible human being. A terrible human being. And that's what's happened in the world today. We have terrible people that are great leaders, and they're going to grab your son. They want your son on their side. So put your thumb on it. If your son says, I'm over at Billy's house studying for this physics test, Mom, then you say, Mom, well then take a picture of Billy's house and send me the picture. If you have aspirations to go to college, and a college coach calls, parents, if you're not home, put a legal pad there and write the name and number down. If any time anybody calls your son, whether it's newspaper, whoever calls your son, write it down. When his friends call the house, write it down. And you'll be fine what kind of direction your son's going to. Have a record of everything. Commitment. You know, commitment's a big word. Nike uses it, Under Armour uses it, colleges use it, high school uses it. It's like a marriage. Commitment's like a marriage. You've got to be committed to that marriage. I remember I was working with Paul Johnson at the United States Naval Academy, and we were doing a home visit. We went into this young man's house in Atlanta, Georgia, and Coach Johnson says, you know, your son's got 3.8 GPA, got 1,400 on the test. He's going to make a fine officer in the United States Navy. You got to be proud. And the young man says, well, Coach, I've got one more trip, official trip. I'd like to go to the University of Tennessee next weekend for my trip. But I'm committed to Navy, but I'd like to go to the University of Tennessee. So Coach Johnson looked over to his mom and said, now, Mrs. Smith, you're a nurse down at Grady Hospital downtown Atlanta, right? Yeah. She says, yes, Coach Johnson. Well, let's say you're at that hospital, and this nice, tall, 6'2", good-looking doctor, surgeon came into the Grady Hospital and said, hey, instead of going home tonight, I'd like you to take a trip with me downtown Atlanta and spend the night, and then you can go tomorrow. So your mom calls home, talks to your dad, and says, hey, you know, I'm going to spend the night with this young surgeon, just one night, but I'm committed to the marriage now and to the family, but I'm going to spend one night with this doctor and we'll work it out. The father says, Coach Johnson, my son is committed to the Naval Academy. And the mother says, Coach Johnson, my son is not going to the University of Tennessee this weekend. Because when you commit, okay, you give everything. You give your path to that college. You give that commitment to your teammates at your high school. You give that commitment to your teammates at the youth level. Whatever you're doing, be committed. Summer to a high school coach or a youth coach could be good or bad. He's got workout plans. He's got camps. He's got things you have to be on. Okay, to make you bigger, faster, stronger, to have a winning team. If you are not committed to the summer program, then run cross country. But you got to be in the weight room. You got to go to camp. You got to go to drills. Because that coach is trying to make you the best athlete you can. Parents, teach your son to get off the couch. Okay. That's the biggest thing we got going there. Whoever's been an Xbox and the Nintendo is not a high school football player, I promise you. They're a good thing. It's hard in the summer, but be committed to going to everything you possibly can. Now, I want to congratulate you. You have taken the first big steps of commitment by coming to FBU. Not only a good camp, but you are being coached by the greatest NFL players in the world. These guys have been there. Okay? These guys have played the game. These guys are motivational. They know the technique. Let me tell you what coaches always say. Technique is going to put you on the field. Whether you're a little short, a little heavy, a little second step, a little slow. But if you've got good technique, you're going to get on the field. Your ability in that weight room and working out and running, the ability is going to make separation from that player. Whether you're a defensive end, getting separated from the offensive line, or you're a receiver getting separated from the defensive back, or you're a running back getting separated from the linebacker. That's going to come from weight room and running and drills. Now, you have been introduced to some great drills and some feet work and some coaching. Whatever you do not go home and forget it. You need to go tomorrow. You need to go out in your yard and you need to run the same drill as many times as you can. You need to go get a teammate, whether it's a youth league or the JV or the varsity. Bring a teammate and show him the drills that you learned. Make him better. Because if he's better, you're better. Then you're going to go show your coach. Hey, coach, look at the defensive line technique I learned at SBU. Let him put it into his drills. The more you can pyramid that out, drill after drill after drill, the better you're going to be. I had a young man 3 years ago. I was watching him do drills in his backyard. Matter of fact, I was going on another recruiting assignment. I saw this man in the street. I was going down the highway. I looked down the street. He was out there in the street with milk jugs. I pulled off the road, circled back around. I had to see who this guy was. He had milk jugs, and he was running the pro shuttle as many times as he can. And he had his probably a 10-year-old sister with a stopwatch call the numbers out. And she couldn't push the button right, and he was getting madder and madder. But the harder he ran, 5 yards there, 5 yards there, 5 yards there, by himself with milk jugs. Martin had a spray can where he sprayed in the streets. And then he was doing defense, and I started doing the defensive line. I was showing some defensive drills, and we had 2 milk jugs and a little sister, and he was doing circle drills and dipping the shoulder, running around. He didn't need a coach. He didn't need mom and dad. He didn't run, but he wanted to be the best that he could. So at 10 o'clock in the morning, he's out there running that drill. And I'm going to pressure you to do that. Take these drills and run them to death. I got the cut call, but the last time, I could talk forever. All right. The last thing was, one of our greatest leaders in American history, Dr. Martin Luther King, once said, whether you're a brain surgeon or you're going to sweep the streets with a broom, be the very best brain surgeon. I've got that quote in my office. So you might not have the ability to play in the NFL, size, speed, but I might be the best second team offensive lineman on my team. And I'm going to outwork those guys because eventually, with that work ethic, you'll eventually beat first team. Again, we evaluate, have fun, congratulations. Mom and Dad, I cannot thank you for giving away that extra $1 in your salary.
Challenges of being here this week for us, you probably haven't seen it, is our hotel is down in Tracy. It's a good 35 minutes away. So getting the timings between traffic and coaches here has been a challenge at times. There's some graduations going on in town and leaving up all the hotels. So I'm just going to take up a couple minutes before I dismiss you to the classroom. A couple of things I'd like to say to you from a recruiting aspect as a coach, for you athletes. Now's the time to start taking responsibility for yourself. I go to a lot of camps, and I see mom and dad carrying the bags for you. They pick up your gear for you. They put it in your bag for you. It's time to stop that. Become a young man. Take charge of your own gear. Take charge of your lives. Do things for yourself. Mom and dad aren't always going to be there. If I'm a coach and I'm recruiting, I want to see you taking care of yourself. I want to see that responsible young man. So, those are just a couple of little things that you need to start to do. Another one is pick up after yourself. You should start doing your own laundry. Mom and dad don't need to do laundry for you. When you go to college, no one's going to be doing the laundry. You might as well start doing it now. And when you need something, you're going to learn that I wasn't prepared, I didn't pay attention, now my clothes are dirty. It's going to teach you something about time frame and the responsibility and getting things done on your own. Stuff that you're going to be expected to do as you leave your house. Start doing it now. You're going to learn that I've got my gear ready. I've packed my stuff. I've double-checked my gear. I've got my shoulder pads. I got my helmet. I got that change of underwear I need. Do those things on your own. Another item that I see, and it drives coaches crazy, watch it every day. I've got my pants hat down my butt, and I walk without a purpose. If you're doing this, you have no purpose. You're just strolling around. So act like you're going somewhere. Get to where you're going. Start doing and showing that you care about what you want to do. Don't be lackadaisical. Get there and then start your workouts. Start being a leader. If you start doing that, people are going to follow you. People will follow you if you start doing the right thing. You're going to become a leader. Well, what happens then? People notice that you're the leader. You get people to follow. Your high school teams now start doing what you do, and you start to become a championship team. Right? If you set the example, if you have a goal and you're trying to achieve that goal, people will follow you. Help each other out. Help your team out. But most importantly is you're going to help yourself out. The other big important thing that drives us crazy is time. There's a little saying that we use a lot. If you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late, and if you're late, it's fired. Real simple. Don't be making people wait for you. The world doesn't surround you. It's about all of us together. It's about your team. So, do not be late. Be early. When you're early, you become prepared. When you're prepared, you become a champion. That's it. All right, enough of my soapbox here. Just a couple little things to help you out. So we're going to start to dismiss out to the classroom.